Hello. We are just checking in to make sure we are on live.
Not broken glass, just buried gold. A sacred truth I used to hold. And every scar I tried to hide was just the map to what's inside. I'm coming home to you, not the you they told me to be, but the fire I've carried silently.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to Soul Spark. Okay, making sure I'm live. It's getting confusing. Okay, hey. Hello, families. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Coming Home to You Sparkcast, where your sanctuary of remembrance, where joy is medicine, leadership is sacred, and coming home to you is a revolution. And as before we begin, let's dive into our one breath, one heart ritual. So it's time to pause, get rooted, present, and connected into this moment. Our sacred moment here is to ground, to remember, and to rise as one. So wherever you are, just get comfortable. Allow yourself to soften your shoulders, soften your body. Place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly, which is your power center. And if it feels safe, gently close your eyes, bringing your awareness to your root, the place where everything begins, your power, your safety, your connection. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts and drawing up that breath up into your crown. And when you reach the top, hold it for 4 counts. And as you exhale slowly through pursed lips, allow your body to just anchor you, releasing anything that no longer serves you, softening you in this moment. Now, I want you to envision a golden light in front of you, swirling, warm, radiant, alive. Now, I want you to breathe that golden light through your heart center. Hold it in for 4 seconds, settling in your chest, allowing it to envelop and embody you. Feel grounded, loved, and empowered in this moment. Now I want you to bring to mind one thing that you're grateful for. Smile softly. And as you exhale for 8 counts, let your gratitude ripple outward, expanding you, expanding your heart. And now let's take one last deep breath in. And I want you to add one more spark of gratitude. And as you're stacking that gratitude, I want you to whisper to your body, thank you. I love you. I am whole. And as you exhale fully, I want you to send that golden light out to this circle and to all who need it today. And speak the ancient prayer of remembrance, the Ho'oponopono. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And now I want you to set your intention. How do you want to show up? What is your truth? How do you want to be received? When one last final breath, we are connected in one breath and one heart. Hmm. Thank you. We may begin. Today, I am so deeply honored to welcome Daniela Trufin, a radiant force of abundance, a generational leader, a woman devoted to helping others rise. She's known as the Abundance Master Coach. Daniela is a transformational mentor, a mindset expert, a founder of Abundant Women Rise. With over 35 years of entrepreneurship leadership and Ph.D. in mastering leadership and her groundbreaking work and flow of abundance method, she supports women to expand in business, relationships, health, and soul purpose. So beautiful. She is not here to motivate you. She is here to activate you. So let's dive into this sacred space of expansion, overflow, and divine remembrance by helping me to welcome our guest today, Daniela Trufin. Welcome.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Margarita. That was an awesome introduction. And I was like, is that me?
That is you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Well, we
this
always,
version of me, at least. It's this version of me now.
and that is what we're here to really go deep on,
Well,
right?
I want to thank you, first of all, for inviting me on this podcast. And so much gratitude for today. I've been looking forward for many days now.
And the honor is really all mine. So thank you for being a yes, for being in the space to share your truth with the women and the others in the world who are still feeling that calling and not knowing how to move forward. So this is so important to share our story so that we can emulate what it looks like, right? Because it's not a one and done. It's not getting it perfect. It's not getting it done. It's really a process. It's really a journey. And this is what this podcast is all about. So thank you.
Layers. Like
Layers.
we peel
Yes, indeed.
layers, and then we're like, oh, what is that? There's something else there.
And as usual, like the beginning starts from that rooted start, that deep rooted start of really like grounding yourself in your truth and your identity of who you truly are. And there was that moment that you had. Daniela, your legacy is decades deep and soul led. Before all the certifications or methods and movements that you've created, who was that woman inside of you who first dared to believe in the vision? Take us back to the roots of your calling and what sparked this lifelong devotion to empowering women and their abundance.
Yeah. So before I became the leader that you see in front of you today, before I became the master in abundance, I was a little girl in back in Romania, where I was born over 50 years ago. We're not going to say how many. And this little girl came into a family of 10. My mom and my dad had 10 kids. I was number 9.
Mm.
And as I grew up, all I heard was we can't afford anything. We don't have it. We don't ask for anything. And specifically, I remembered the moment when my mom said, there's 10 of you and there's only one salary. So don't ask for anything. So I grew up believing that we will never be able to afford anything as a 8 years old, looking at my mom saying these things. But she said them so often that I I literally embodied this into my cellular, at a cellular level, right? So as many years later, we arrived in America, and I was like, wow, so many people have so many things going on here. Like they have everything. Like, oh, how come like we couldn't afford it back then? And of course, went on a journey, got married, and as I went through my life, I realized that I there's ways that you can be abundant. There's ways that you can figure it out, and there's others that could support you on figuring it out. So that was my journey. I started going towards, let's see, what can I do to shift, and that was my why. I found out it was my why eventually. My why was the next generation that comes after me. I don't want them to ever say we cannot afford it. So I went through some leadership trainings, as you know, because we've done the same leadership trainings. And about 6 years ago, I was like, oh my God, there is another level of being abundant in this world. And about 25 years ago, I needed to make money for my 5 kids, in the family. And I started as a cleaning lady, cleaning homes for customers. And I got to a point where being by myself wasn't enough. And I started hiring people. And then all of a sudden I woke up one day, I'm like, do I have a business? And yes, I created a business that started bringing abundance and money into my life. And with that, we got to create other ways of bringing abundance. So that's where I started.
That's so powerful. And it goes to show like how our upbringing really creates our limiting beliefs and the ideals of what is expected, what is accepted, what is the norm. But I also love that you saw something brighter in the future and you took yourself on early on. So take us a little deeper. Like, what was was there like a defining moment where you were sitting in your room or in your car or in your whatever alone and you were just like, something's got to give? Was there a moment like that for you?
Yes, there was a moment. The moment came when I was cleaning, and I was by myself back then. I was cleaning and in a customer home, and the customer came home, and I got to his house a little bit earlier than normal. He goes, "What are you doing here so early?" I'm like, "Well, I had I have many couple of customers today, so I got to start early today." And the customer was looked at me, and he was, Mm-mm-mm. "Poverty sucks." Now, I understood why poverty sucks, but I was like, what do you mean poverty sucks? What is it about me that makes you think that I am poor? And he said, well, you got to work many jobs to make ends meet. And that was a moment I remember very, very vividly. I went back into the jacuzzi that I was cleaning. And as I was cleaning, tears fell down my face. And I was like, I will become so successful that nobody will ever put me down like that again in my life. So that was my defining moment to become abundant, to become successful, and to make it.
Oh my God, I just saw myself in you. I think we all have those pivotal moments when somebody says something that gets us in a space of like, oh, but I love that you took yourself on and you did not allow that to be your breaking moment. You allow that to be your breaking open moment
And
where you allow,
more than anything, I com- I completed the clean because I'm always a finisher. I completed the clean that day, and I remember looking at both of them, husband and wife, and I said, "I am giving you my 2 weeks." Oops, there's balloons. I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. I'm not coming back. And they were very stunned, very stunned. What do you mean you're not coming back? I am not coming back. This is your notice that I will not come back. And I never went back.
Oh my God. Talk about
Yeah,
owning your power in that
I
moment.
didn't
Look
even
at
know
you
I
go.
was stepping into the power back then. And I'm like, I am not coming back.
You truly did. I think anybody in that moment would just kind of recoil, especially being from like a minority group where you feel all of the standards of society saying you're not enough, you're not good enough, you know? And so like power to you. And so I just want to get back to that rise and spark, right? Overcoming those limiting beliefs and reframing the truth of who you are. Because there's always a breakdown before the breakthrough happens. A
Yeah.
moment that asks us to rise or retreat. You just shared one of them, but can you share another pivotal moment in your journey where you were called to rise, to reframe your truth and embody the woman you are today? Like
Yes, I do
truly?
remember specific the moment. And he was in this leadership program we both were part of. And exactly 6 years ago, it was June. I remember it was June 9th, because we stepped into vision. As you know, it's part of the program. And after the first day and seeing the trainer, like having, like, having questions, and people got breakthrough after breakthrough, people were like, I looked back at right and left, and I was like, oh my God, I absolutely love, this is what I love to do. And I know that in that moment, I found my calling. So I went up to the trainer and I said, this is what I love to do. And she goes, Daniela, you can absolutely do that. And for 6 years later, I've done all the trainings, all the programs, and today I am coaching women into transformation. And it's absolutely my passion, and I know it's my calling.
Tell us about that. Tell us what has shifted in the way that you show up when you made that decision to empower others.
Yeah.
Did it start with you empowering yourself? Like, take us a little bit more on that, like a little bit of that journey.
Yes. So up until that 2019 in June, I believe my voice, I did not have a voice. I broke through. That was my biggest breakthrough, was standing in my power and letting my voice out to the world. I was doing things, I was behind the scenes, but I was always afraid to show up online, to show up anywhere, to stand as the leader I am today. I would always say, oh, let that person go first. Oh, that person can. I always felt like I was not good enough to do that. I was not good enough to lead a room, to take initiative action, to step into the world and do something great. I always thought I knew a lot, but I always thought there's someone better out there. And yeah, and I did discover that I did step into my power. I shifted, oh my God, so many beliefs that I cannot even recognize. I actually got one lady said to me that knew me from 6 years ago. She said, "You are unrecognizable." Like, I cannot even recognize the Daniela from 2019 to Daniela today. She shows up totally different. And yes, these days I stand for others. I step into rooms where I belong. I know I belong in every room. And I am leading by example. That is the biggest thing that I've learned in leadership. Leaders go first. We always go first. Like, whatever's out there about to be happening, like a leader like us, we always are the first ones to do it. And then we empower others to follow and lead. Because if you can't lead yourself, you cannot lead others. So first of all, you got to take care of you, and then others will follow.
Wow. And it's so simple, and yet we get so lost in the scarcity, in the story of the past of like who we are and those limiting beliefs. But I love that you mentioned in the beginning how you went into leadership, you had coaches and mentors who shine the light on the truth of who you are,
Yes.
because us as leaders only see the truth and light of who people are, and we want to shine that. And we sometimes I feel like I get frustrated because it's like, why don't you see the greatness that I see in you? Why are you still so gung ho on being right about your smallness? I am not enrolled in that. And I
Love.
think that is something, right? I think that's something that really was what I heard you say, because even though early on you saw the power in shifting your belief, you still felt small and you wanted other people to go first.
Yeah,
And you can't really stand in your power until you show up in your leadership.
absolutely.
So
Until
how did that change your dynamics within yourself and even your family?
yeah, well, even my family, my kids, they also said that they don't recognize the mom that raised them because again, not the same person. I used to be in overwhelm. I was always rushing, going. I was in the negative, sorry, the masculine, like going, doing all day long. Never stopped to take care of myself. I was the last one on the list. And by that time, I would collapse. And I do have stories where my kids said sometimes you would collapse on the sofa and we were wondering if you're okay. It got to that point over the years and never had a like morning meditation or morning power hour that I call it now, where I connect with myself. And before I stepped into the world, I stepped inside my world. So when I fill my cup first and I fill myself first, with gratitude, with meditation, prayers, and before I stepped out my bedroom door, I asked myself these questions, who do I get to be today to be the leader that impacts others? Like, who do I get to be? Now, what I'm going to do. So I shifted. That was a big shift. Instead of what am I going to do today? Okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, And now it's who do I get to be? And then the second question is whose life am I going to impact today? Whose life is it going to be better because I came in contact with them? Yeah. And then the last question I would be, what am I grateful for today? So that's before I even get out of the room. Like, what am I grateful for? And I always have 5 to 10 things. I sit and I'm like so deeply grateful, but not just saying that you're grateful because Margarita, if we just say, I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for that, what are we doing? We're checking a list, right? Like I feel it. That's the secret on gratitude. And I know you know that, and the audience gets to know this is a secret that I learned. When you are in gratitude, embody the gratitude that you're putting it out there. So if I say I'm grateful for my kids, and then I name them by name, one, and then my grandkids and my husband. So I go one by one. I go, what am I grateful for? And I heard this from one of my mentors. What are the 10 things that if you would wake up tomorrow morning and they will not be there, you would be devastated? So those are my 10 to 15, because I have like 15 as my closest family. I put 15. So I'm grateful for 15 human beings that are closest to me every single morning. And as I call their name, I embody the gratitude that they are in my life. So that's what I do.
Wow, those are already some really great sacred tools that you shared with us. Um, and those are great, even journaling prompts to do every day. And I love that you mentioned like doing it every morning. It is a ritual. It is a devotion. And this is something we talk about in this Sparkcast. It's not a destination, it's a devotion, coming home back to yourself. So tell us some of the sacred tools, whether it's faith, wellness, or inner resilience, right? Because you follow your flow of abundance method blends neuroscience with emotional mastery and leadership. But I'd love to know when life gets loud, what's one sacred tool? You already gave us some good tidbits, but what's one sacred tool or daily practice that helps you come back to your truth and tap back into your flow, especially the abundance flow?
Yes. I absolutely love this word abundance because it's not just money. Sometimes people think when I talk about abundance, it's just money. But when I talk about abundance, is having abundance like in every area of my life. So abundance of time, like by creating a business right now, I have abundance of time to create my passion business, right? My coaching business. So by creating something that would bring me income, right now I can create what I love and I'm passionate about. Not that I wasn't passionate about cleaning, okay? Because I'm still passionate about cleaning. And at this point, my daughter and my husband are running that business. And I know that my calling is to impact others. So, and then there is abundance in relationships, right? How many people are disconnected? That is like one of my biggest thing right now, constantly connecting with people, not just close ones, not just in my life, just people out there on anywhere you go. So it's not abundance of connections anywhere you go. When you walk into a restaurant, you walk anywhere, Starbucks, are you there to keep taking stuff or are you there to give? Give. Always. So I have an acronym. It's ABG. Always be giving. ABG. Always be giving. So when I connect with someone, is what am I giving? And again, when I'm giving, I'm not giving from an empty cup like I used to in the years before when I was in overwhelm. I had nothing to give because I would collapse, right? But today I give from overflow. Why? Because I already filled my cup, filled myself with prayer, meditation, gratitude. So now I'm ready to give from the overflow of that, and then others can receive. So abundance of connections. And you might be the only person in another person's life that day that talks to them, says their names. I recently been to a restaurant and as with a friend for lunch, and as we walk by the front, the hostess, and it was a man in his 80s and no name tag. So first thing I said, "Hey, what is your name?" Now, I don't know if anybody else asked him that day, "What's your name?" So I asked that so later on when I'm done or I pass by, I can say, "Bye, George," or "Bye, whatever the name is," because the sweetest thing to a person is his name or her name, correct? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then the waitress comes, and again, no name tag, and I'm like, "What's your name?" Cheryl or Shirley or Cheryl, and constantly through her serving us, I would say, "Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. I appreciate you for serving. I appreciate." So it's like you are connected with not just your family, you're connected with others. And remember, in the morning, I said the question, whose life am I going to make better once I step out of my house? And now I'm impacting others. And they don't have to be people that I know. They could be strangers also. And it's this is a habit. Again, it's not a I do it today or I do it once in a while. This is a absolutely systematically every day. It's not like I'm going to skip a day. It's not a skipping thing. That's when you know you really embody the gratitude, the abundance, and then just watch how things show up in your life in way because you're a giver, right? You give your time, you give your, and then you do other things that you give, but things will come back. I never worry about money coming into my life because no matter where I am and what I do, a giver. So when you're a giver, things will come back to you in ways you cannot even imagine. And I can't even tell you how many. One quick story. I was a coach in Vision in that leadership program, and 3 days completely, we're on Zoom 12 hours a day. And in those 3 days, I was volunteering. So I was giving my time to the students, to the program that changed my life. And all of a sudden, on the first day, $3,000 job comes in. Like my daughter is like, "Oh, we got a $3,000 job." I'm like, "Whoa!" Next day, a builder looks for us. I have 2 move outs. I have this that totaled about $5,000 while I was in a leadership program. Money came into my business. So money come in ways you cannot even imagine when you're a giver and give from overflow.
What I'm hearing is you say that it is an intentional
Yes.
thing that you create, that it's not when you feel like it, it's not when you're remember about it. Like it's an intentional
Yes.
way of being. It's your way of being. And did it take practice? Because I'm sure it took practice for you to be
Yes.
there, or was it like an automatic at that point?
No, it always takes. So again, don't beat yourself up if you start and then one day you forget to do the gratitude, because it will slowly be embedded in you if you start daily. And then okay, you forgot one day, okay, let's not beat ourselves up, right? Because we're good at that. We're very good at beating ourselves up if we miss an event, if we miss something to do. We're always like very good at beating ourselves up. And have grace and continue. But I also do this at night, just right before I close my eyes and before I open my eyes. So you're in theta right there when you're between sleeping and waking, or waking and sleeping. So I'm a part of my rituals, because you asked like what's another thing is I visualize intentionally how I want my day to go, how I want my business to run, how I want my clients. Like I visualize, I feel it in my body. I feel the joy, the happiness, the love that I have for them. So you create an energetic like connection, and whatever you think and whatever you feel, right, creates your state of being. So when you think how you're going to support others and how you're in gratitude and you are in service for others, and you envision, and then your heart rises up, that's a thought with an elevated emotion creates the thing that you want. It's very powerful. If your viewers gets this, again, it's not of I'm envisioning, I'm getting $10,000, I'm envisioning that this is going to happen, I'm going to envision my new car. Like, feel it. Before I had my car, my SUV, I envisioned the color, the what do you call the on the seats, the sewing.
The
I
trimming, yeah.
I saw the sewing, the ROMs. I literally envisioned that. And guess what? That's how my car looks.
That's amazing.
3 months later, the car was exactly how I envisioned it. But I felt happy in it. I felt, I felt joy. I felt, so it's the feeling that creates, you attract in your life what you feel.
That's true. And I just wanted to throw it out there for all those listening. I think, and maybe I should ask you this question, like, did you always believe when you started off, when you had those limiting beliefs, or did it really take clearing those limiting beliefs and surrounding yourself with people who saw your light that
Mhm.
helped to kind of chip away at that old story of yourself to believe your new affirmations, your new way of being? Because I know a lot of us can get stuck in the whole, I could say it, but my subconscious is still not really fully believing. So, take us on a quick 1 minute journey on how that looked for you.
Yes. So I was doing things unconsciously. So when you do unconsciously, you're not aware of these beliefs. But once you're surrounded by mentors, you're surrounded by coaches, by peers, right? It's your limited beliefs are coming up to the surface, because now you're like, whoa, I didn't know I had that belief. I didn't know that, money is this or money is that, because we all have stories on everything. And what it took was it took a lot of work on clearing my limited belief one by one. So what I did is, whatever limited belief would come up, I would, because you don't just, limited belief, they don't just go away by themselves. You got to do something. So what I would do is take two empowering beliefs and replace them. So if a limited belief would come up, I would ask, is it true? Is it true that you can't afford it? Is it true? And I would say, no, it's not true. There's an unlimited abundance in this world. Bob Proctor says in his teachings, he passed away, but when he was alive, his teachings are still on, but he always said, look around you. There's an unlimited amount of leaves, of air. I mean, we're not thinking about where my next air is coming from, right? We're just breathing. It's abundant. Look at the leaves on the trees. Look at the birds in the sky. Look at the air around you. It's abundant. That's how money is around you, in abundance. Okay. So is it true? No, it's not true that there's no way I can make money, or there's no way I can be abundant or rich. And once you take that limited belief and you empower, put two empowering beliefs, and I would say, I am abundant. Abundant is all around me. I was born abundant. See, because the truth is, we already born abundant. We are already born free. We are already born with everything we need, we get to know in our life. What happened is, as you know, we just got conditioned, right, by a lot of other people's belief that were put around us, just like my mom did for me, and other people's parents did, or teachers. They put a lot of things around us, right? And now this is what I do with the women that I am coaching in my coaching business. They are already abundant. They just don't know it yet. Why? Because all these limited beliefs are on top of it. And if you ever heard the story of Michelangelo and the David, somebody asked, how did you make such an amazing sculpture of David? And he said, I didn't make the sculpture. I just chipped away everything that was in David. And then David appeared. So that's what I do with the women that are in my coaching. I chip away everything that it's not them. So then the real them show up powerfully, loving, joyful, committed, all the good ways of being, instead of having all these beliefs. So that's what we work on when they work with me.
Oh my gosh, I love that you brought up the whole David
One
Michelangelo.
of my favorite,
I remember hearing that. Yes, I remember
I
hearing that
remember,
from the trainer.
I remember hearing that, and I was like, oh my God, it was a block in the beginning, right? So the master Michelangelo just kept chipping and chipping until the rest of the things were taken out, and David was the
He was
masterpiece.
already there.
He's
And
already there, so
and
we
that's
already
the truth.
have it.
And this truth, like the metaphor works for the reason why the trainer used it in our training was because the metaphor works. The truth of who you are is already down in there, but you're
You
blocked,
have
right?
it.
You're blocked by all the limiting beliefs. You're blocked by the story. You're blocked by the upbringing. You're blocked by whatever thing that you believe is true that is stopping you, making you small. And so thank you for giving us that beautiful visual and tying it in.
Oh my God!
It
Once
works
you
so
move,
beautifully.
then we found out who Margarita is, who Daniela is, and I am a powerful, loving, connected leader. And who are you, Margarita?
Yes, you are. I am a loving, brave, connected leader or
Yes,
committed leader. Committed
yes,
leader.
you are.
Yes.
Yes, see, that's who we
Um,
core of our being.
that is who we are at the core of our being. And if you want to learn more about leadership, I know you've heard it many times on this Sparkcast, please comment leadership below. We'd be happy to send you information on how you too can find a community of people who are going to see you in your light and not be enrolled in your smallness. But that's why it's important to have a community. And that community bridge makes us feel belonging, inclusion, and we create impact. And it creates impact in our life. So abundance is more than just wealth, right, Daniela? It's legacy, like you mentioned earlier. It's connection and it's impact. How can you create safe spaces where women feel seen, supported, and part of something greater than themselves? And how do you honor inclusivity while still holding high standards in your leadership?
Yeah. So what I want to let women know, again, just what we talked about it, there's nothing missing. There's nothing missing inside of you. You got everything inside of you. It's just all these conditioning that's been covering who you really are. And once you discover, it's exactly like a rebirth. It's like you are coming home to yourself. Just like the name of this podcast, the name of the theme, coming home to you. So I would love for every woman to come home to themselves. It's absolutely in the joy that you feel, the way you show up. Like I people that, again, that don't they haven't they have known me for many years, they just they can't even, they keep saying, is it still you? Like, yeah, it's me, but it's the new version of me. And you know what? I'm thanking all the versions of me that got me to where I am today, because it took a lot of different versions. And that's what we are going to show other women as leaders, that there is nothing wrong with them. They don't need to do anything. They just get to believe, like removing all these beliefs and then start the new life. And from there, they start creating, because most women create from the story of the past, right? What happened to me, and this happened to me, and that happened, and all the stories. And you cannot create a future from living in that past. So we get to let go, forgive. That's another big one. You get to forgive people in your life, let go of all these limited beliefs that has been stopping you. And once you get to that place, the pure you, now from this space, you can abundance, you become a magnet. I'm telling you guys, you become a magnet for abundance. These days, I am like, things just show up in my life, connections show up, money show up, people, like time shows up for me. I'm like, oh my God, I am a magnet. I got to a point where I came home to myself, and from this space, and doing your daily, meditation or daily prayers or whatever you do in the morning. And from this space, abundance is being, you don't chase it anymore. You don't need to chase money. You don't need to chase relationship or time. You're it. You're it. And then it magnifies, and then it brings back to you. And it's such a different place to live from. And I would love that for every woman out there. And for you, Margarita.
Yes, I receive, and I loved everything you said. I've been taking some great notes, and it's almost like what I heard you say was abundance is your birthright. It's time to reclaim it, to just kind of weed out through the story that is no longer serving you, that old story of belief. And I love that, and I love everything.
Getting communities with people that are thinking and going to a different level. Because a lot
Mhm.
of us are having, our family and friends and people that we know, coworkers, they're at a level where they're dragging us down with their, the dramas and the story and the negativity. And leaders, when we get together, right, we talk about, what are you creating these days, right? Margarita, what are you? Oh, I'm creating the podcast. Daniela, what are you creating today? Oh, I'm creating my coaching business. That's what leaders like us, we talk about. So get in communities. I do have a community, the Abundance Women Rife is my page, but I also have a community called Live Extraordinary with Love. And in that community, I post things and I support the women to come in to themselves, come home to themselves. Yep. And I
Yeah,
will,
it is really important to surround yourself with people who aren't going to magnify that same story that they've seen you in. So when
yeah,
you're trying to shift, when you're and I think it's so important that you brought that up to the forefront, Daniela, because there is so much of the process of peeling back the layers of who you always were to who you're meant to always be, who you always were. Let me say that again. You're peeling back the layers who you thought you were, but you're becoming who you always are,
are meant
right?
to be.
Outside the noise. But when you're not surrounding yourself with the people who see you in your likeness or who are not enrolled in your smallness, you're going to find yourself having kind of like a meshing of, no, this is not the version of you that I'm comfortable with. This is not the version of you that I know how to deal with, and so it's so important in those moments. So thank you for saying that, to really surround yourself with either uh, being in leadership with other people, having a mentor or a coach or a life coach, whatever that, or a therapist, somebody who sees you in your light, or just get a new group of friends who are in the same work that you are in, personal development and seeing the truth of who they are, because it's so important to have people be your cheerleader in this process because it could feel very lonely. Would you agree?
Yes. Yes.
So it's
Absolutely.
important. Community
This
bridging is so important.
things connection, but connection with the right leaders, the right people, the right mentors, coaches. Like this is key, guys. This is key. I mean, both of us had, right, you had coaches, I had mentors, coaches. In the last few years, I think I continuously had coaches and mentors in my life that pulled me into that higher level and see this in me and said, Daniela, there's women out there that can only hear from you. And when I understood that, and when I got it, I was like I get to show up, no more hiding behind, because that was one of my things, not showing up, right? And my mom, it was also a belief, not sure if you knew that, but a belief that my mom would say, nobody should know about you, nobody should know anything about you, how much you make, who you are, what you do. So that belief was so embedded that I literally broke through just last year. And after that, I'm like, no, there's women out there that are crying. They're asking for a mentor or a coach to show up. Here I am. I got all the knowledge and I'm not showing up for them. And when I reprogram my mindset on how many women, or what's the cost, and you know what the cost is? Sometimes it's suicide, sometimes it's depression. That's the cost. And for me to have all the knowledge and not be able to reach out and say, hey, I'm here for you, I'm here. So I have something I want to say. I invite every woman that is listening to come home to you. Come home to your power, your voice, and your joy. And live like your life and everyone else's life around you matters, because it does. One of my favorite quotes, because I live my life as my life, and everyone else's life around me matters, because it does.
And that gives you urgency. And I love that. So, for the woman out there still listening who could remember just one thing today about herself, and I think what you just said was so can go perfectly with that. But I know that you have a better message for her worth or what's possible for her. What soul truth would you want to whisper into her heart as she journeys home to herself?
Yes. So I want to speak with the women that are out there, the ones that think that nobody's is able to help them. There is always someone out there that can support you. There's always, reach out, find a mentor, find a coach that can guide you. Because sitting in your own world does not support you. Sitting in your problems and your stories does not support. There's always, you are meant for more, and you have a light in you that only you can shine. Only you can shine into the world. There's nobody else's light. My light cannot shine your light. Only you can light that light, shine that light. And I want you to know that you're worthy. I see you, and I'm here for you.
Hmm. Oh, what a beautiful message. So thank you for that. I know that you brought up a little bit of where people can reach out to you, but just to have it at the end so that people can really get a sense on how listeners can go deeper with you. Tell us what's blooming in your world right now and where we can connect with your work.
Yes, yes. So I opened up on Thursdays between 1 and 7. I open up discovery calls if anybody wants to find out about the work that we're doing. And we will put some links right below. And they can find me on Facebook at Daniela Trufin, and also on Instagram at Daniela_Trufin. Also, Abundant Women Rise is the page that I put a lot of content out. And my group of women is Live Extraordinary with Love. So there's plenty of places to reach out and leave a message, an email. And my email, very interesting email, it's life is happening for you at
Mm.
gmail.com. Yes, it is a Tony Robbins quote. And it was
And
available. So
and
it's,
you know, sometimes I hear that and I always say life is happening for you, but I actually like to go deeper and say life is happening through you.
yes,
Like it's
that's
happening through you.
level.
It's your thoughts, it's
Yeah,
your intentions, it's your beliefs. All of it is happening through you and it's for you. So if the reason why I like that quote that he says life is happening for you is because if things aren't working, then there is a lesson there. What is
yes,
it that you're making
that's what it
mistake?
actually means. A lot of people are not sure what it means. What do you mean life is happening for me? But all the good and the bad that happens in your life happens for you. Because sometimes
Yes.
it's a redirection. Sometimes God wants to take you, oh, that there's not your way. It's a stop. You're like upset, like, why is this happening to me? Right? But then, and then you find you go this way, and then you find the love of your life, or you find the job, or you find the career, or you find a mentor, or you find something because you are stuck over here, and then you go the other way. So that's why
Yeah.
life is waiting for you.
Yeah. And so if you can shift it as knowing that it happens through you, then it's like, what story are you enrolling yourself in every day?
Yeah.
Are you enrolling yourself in your empowering light or in your
Yep.
limiting beliefs? Because if life is not working for you, then I'd be interested to hear what are you broadcasting to the world. But I just wanted to say thank you as this conversation has come to an end. This interview, I feel like could go for another hour because there's so much to talk about
Yeah.
how abundance really connects to our state of being and our way of being intentional in how we show up. So if this conversation stirred something within you, if your heart just cracked open just a little more, if you felt seen, heard, or just simply not alone, please share this. Please share this with the sister. Please subscribe to our channel because your support really will help bring this content to the people out there still on the precipice of choosing themselves, not knowing whether they should be a yes or a no to life. Because this is what happens when we remember who we truly are. We grow community, we step into our power. Not who the world told us to be, but the version shaped by old stories, survival or patterns or expectations, but the version rising like a phoenix from the ashes of limitation and the truth of abundance, joy, and soul led leadership.
Yeah.
Today, you were invited to choose again, to stop creating from your past and begin creating from your future self, to give from overflow, not obligation, and to forgive fully, to come home to you. You don't need permission to be powerful. You were born abundant. So, what is the cost of continuing to play small is my question. Let yourself be, let your self-care be sacred. Let your presence be intentional and let your gratitude be embodied. And let your yes be the beginning of a new chapter where you lead with light, give from grace, and walk boldly into your truth. You are not missing anything. You've just been shedding what was truly never you. And now the world is ready for the masterpiece underneath it. Be the David in your life. You are the someone you've been waiting for. You're exactly where you're meant to be.
It's 11 o'clock.
Until next time, sisters, keep shining, keep rising, and keep coming home because you matter. You are enough. Exactly are you as you are. Until next episode, I am Margarita Rose. Be kind to yourself and others. Keep choosing joy and leading from love. Thank you so much, Daniela, for being here and being such a
For
light
having
to our
me.
guests.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
And what a blessing.